called the king of parodies. He's been around for many years with host of albums. This week, we're going to reflect on Weird Al Yankovic. And to honor him, we're going to give our top 5 personal favorite songs of his.
Pour the coffee.
Top of the mustache to you, and welcome to another episode of Mustaches and Coffee. Where the topic goes, nobody knows. I'm Isaac.
I'm Ben.
I'm Ajax.
And we're glad to have all you mustache and coffee lovers with us. And welcome in Ajax as our special guest today. How are you?
I am doing very well. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with you.
Yes. Welcome in. We're happy to have you with us.
Have you.
And I'm going to start off. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you both?
Good. I didn't forget you this time, Ben. I wanted I did not forget you. So
I appreciate that.
It's just I want to blame it on getting older, but I think it's just I'm absent-minded sometimes. So I apologize. But there, I made sure to not forget you this time, Ben, because I do care about how you're feeling. So
I appreciate that.
So before we jump into this topic, it's kind of a special topic. I think a lot of people know who Weird Al is, and that's a pretty fun topic. I think we're gonna really have a fun discussion with that. But let's kind of catch up a little bit. So, as our guest, Ajax, I'd have to ask you the question: what's brewing in your life?
Well, last week we were in Virginia. I was on business, and so I brought my family to Virginia with me. They got to hang out at a swank hotel as I got to go to work every day and come back and say, hey, you guys have fun in this nice hotel? And they said, yes. And I said, well, that's good. But it was all right. It wasn't a bad trip. It wasn't a great trip either. We had already vacationed once, so it was kind of like a bonus, but at the same time, it was like a lesser of the two vacations because I was working the whole time, but it was all right.
Yeah. I think that's better than a cubicle, right? Virginia Beach?
Very much, yes, yeah. Well, yeah. We were kind of in Virginia Beach area anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. If you're working, it's not the same as much as you're traveling and such, but that's good to hear.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll have to ask Ben now, what's burning in your life?
Not a whole lot. Just got back from a long week off of work, so that's really nice. And I have to give a shout out to a guy from work, Don, who listens to us on a regular basis. He actually just went to the Reds game over the weekend, and when I came up back to work Friday, he handed me a 2024 Reds yearbook he bought for me, and
nice.
That was really nice. So thank you, Don. But yeah, that's about all I got going on.
Very nice. Well, I think they got swept, unfortunately, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, at least you got something out of it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a plus. So, well, that's nice. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Had some time off work, so today was kind of the adjustment day and getting back into gear at work. So not too much going on with me. It was a nice weekend, though. I got to say, got some things done and was able to go outside, and it was hot at times, but it was still nice. I like to just be able to get outside, so I can't complain. I'm just a boring old guy, I guess, just doing adult things that to me is like, yay, but it's just, oh, you accomplished something. Good for you. So, but yeah, that's about the goings on for us. So let's get into what's the excitement for this week. Let's get into our main topic. Weird Al Yankovic is well known in the music industry. He's been around for decades, parodying famous songs and making them pretty funny, actually. So we thought it was appropriate. We have to give our top 5 Weird Al songs. And that's not an easy feat because, again, decades and decades of music, many albums he's produced, but we're going to try and accomplish the challenge. So as our guest, we're going to kick it off with Ajax. So what would be your number 5 Weird Al song?
All right, so for number 5, it's one that is a little lesser known. It's not one of his huge hits or anything, but I'm going to go with number 5, Another Tattoo. Another Tattoo is a parody of Nothing on You by B.O.B. from the Apocalypse album in 2011. And it just highlights the craze of the tattoo world. And really, 2011, that was pre-Post Malone, but post Mike Tyson, that's his name. Mike Tyson got that weird face tattoo. And so that kind of launched all these face tattoos and neck tattoos, everybody getting them. So Weird Al's song, Another Tattoo, this parody was just great, spot on. Some of the memorable quotes were, and I've got some space here on the side of my face here for another tattoo. And then my favorite one is the mention of Boba Fett playing clarinet. And a lot of Weird Al fans who like tattoos have gotten the Boba Fett playing the clarinet. So whenever you're at a Weird Al show and somebody's got tattoos, ask to see their Boba Fett playing clarinet, and I bet they have one.
Interesting. I'll be honest. We talked about how we like Weird Al. I don't think I've heard that song, so that's interesting. But I get that. It goes along with what you're saying, though. It seems like that's the craze, and a lot of artists have done that as well. So okay, that's a way to start off the number 5. So Ben, what's your number 5?
So this one, I still sing this one from time to time. It's I don't know if it's necessarily a parody. So Ajax, you might be able to tell me exactly. So the song is "I'll Sue You." It's in the style of Rage Against the Machine, and it's Weird Al.
It's a style parody.
Yeah. So it's him just like complaining about like he'll sue anybody that looks at him funny, or like, I think he drinks McDonald's coffee and he burns his tongue, or he ate too much at this restaurant, so he got fat, so he's gonna sue them also. Anyways, it's like one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
good one.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was a good one, and it's Weird Al being Weird Al, right? He parodied Rage Against the Machine very well on that one. So okay, well, my number 5. It might be one that's not very well known. I don't know. I'm trying to think how big this song it parody was, but I think it got overshadowed. But the song itself is called Cavity Search. It's off of the Bad Hair Day album, and it's a parody of U2's song that was actually on the Batman Forever soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And why I say it was overshadowed is, of course, Kiss from a Rose was kind of the big song for Batman Forever, but I just love how when you hear the original from YouTube, it's like it's very fitting. He's talking about pretty much going to a dentist and getting like his teeth drilled. I mean, the line is like, now I'm blanking on the lyrics, but it's like drill me, floss me, bill me, and that's going in line with the YouTube song. But my favorite part of the whole song is on the bridge. Bono does is like, oh, and so Weird Al took that and he does these like, oh, and there's drilling noises like he's getting his teeth drilled.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I got to make that my number 5, because every time I hear that song and that part, I have to chuckle. So okay,
it's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, so we're back to you, Ajax. What's your number 4?
All right, so my number 4 is another B.O.B. song, but it's not by B.O.B. the rapper. It's by B.O.B. Dylan, and it's Bob, which is the Dylan pastiche. And what's great about this song, I mean, there's so many great things about this song, but there's clever, and then there's the level. By the way, level is a palindrome. We'll get to that. But there's a level of clever that Weird Al achieves here, which is the top possible level of clever you can get. The entire song is palindromes. Every single line in the song is a palindrome. I love it so much. It's called Bob, which is great because Bob, also a palindrome. And it's from Poodle Hat, great album from 2003. So, two of my favorite lines that are palindromes in this song: May a moody baby doom a yam, and oozy rat in a sanitary zoo. I love it. It's so silly and so smart. That's my number 4.
Okay. I've heard the album, but I'm for some reason blanking on that. So that's why we had you on. We knew you're a big Weird Al fan. We appreciate you bringing out these lesser known ones because that just sounds like a Weird Al. Now I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the album because I know I've heard it, but it's been years ago. So okay, very nice. So Ben, what's your number 4?
So this was a popular one. The Saga Begins. It's a Star Wars parody of American Pie. Especially it was like when it became popular when like the first Star Wars movie came out and everything. But music video is pretty funny. That's what I got for number 4.
Yeah, so my favorite line from that song is when he goes, "The battle droids are broken." The way he says that is so great. I love it.
Yes, I agree. That's my favorite line too. And that was so big when it came out because obviously Star Wars was big and he just happened to release it the same year. So
Before it was even out.
Yeah. And he must have had access because he tells the whole movie. It's just hilarious.
He definitely had an inside track.
Yeah. But when you're Weird Al, I guess you get that. By that moment, he was definitely a well-known name. So yeah, that's a great pick. I was gonna mention that if nobody else did. I would be shocked if nobody did because that's one of his well-known ones, but it's definitely a classic. So yeah, my number 4 goes to I would not recommend looking up the original song, but I've heard clips of it and I love his parody. It's called Trapped in the Drive-Thru. It's a parody of R. Kelly, and the reason why is there's a lot of controversy around R. Kelly anyway, but that song's just kind of yeah, but it's so you went back to like clever, level. To me, that's like one of his more clever songs. It's just about a couple getting dinner through a drive-in, and he of course is parodying the song, and it's just so well done. It's just the delivery on some lines and how he sets it up. It's just great. I mean, it's a 16-minute song. So I would say make sure you have the time to listen to it if you haven't heard it before. There's a funny YouTube. You can see it on YouTube. There's a music video and it's like characters. I'd recommend seeing that one, but make sure you got 16 minutes to spare, but it's worth it. It's a lot of fun, I think. So that's my number 4.
So good.
Yeah. So, okay, back to you, Ajax. What's your number 3?
All right, my number 3 is a parody, and it is it's my favorite parody he's ever done, and it is Smells Like Nirvana from the Off the Deep End album in 1992. Of course, parody of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, and the way that you could actually hear him make the lyrics come to life in a way that is strange because you can't understand the lyrics in the original song, and that's what the whole song is about, is that you can't understand the lyrics in the original song. It is so funny and so perfect, and I love it so much. So Smells Like Nirvana is my number 3.
Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that one, I appreciate that song because I remember the bass player for Nirvana, they interviewed him about that. Like, what do you think about Weird Al covered it? And he said, they were all just, oh man, Weird Al's gonna get us. He's just gonna. They were really nervous, and he said as soon as they heard it, they were on the floor laughing, all of them. So
that's how they knew they've arrived.
Yeah,
right.
Weird Al did the parody.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great behind the scenes. Just a lot of his parodies are like that. There's some interesting background to them. So yeah, that's a great pick. That's a classic for sure.
And I think if I remember correctly, the extras that they had in the actual Nirvana film were actually, and the music video were actually in the Weird Al video also.
Yeah, a lot of them were the same. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the janitor was for sure, I think,
Yeah,
and
think so.
he's like more goofy in the Weird Al
Mhm.
one, like he's dancing more, but he was just kind of a janitor in the Nirvana or something. But yeah, that's right. They were
Yeah.
using a lot of actors from there. Yeah, great pick. That's a great one. So, okay. So we're over to Ben. What's your number 3?
All right, so this is White and Nerdy from Chameleonaire's version of Writing Dirty. And I just always crack up because it has Donny Osmond like randomly dancing in it. So that's what I got.
Oh yeah, that's one I was also like I was gonna actually I do have it at my number 3. Yeah, I was about to say it's on my list, but if you guys were gonna mention, I was like, well, maybe I'll just make it as an honorable mention. But I was gonna say the same thing with Donny Osmond in the video. It's just really clever. Just the original song is this like gangster rap song, and he takes it, does the complete opposite with it. But I think actually what's funny about that song is a lot of people respected his rapping skills too.
Yeah.
After that, as much as he's saying he's white and nerdy, people are like, he's got some rhythm and everything with it. So
Well, yeah,
that's
because
what.
it's so fast. It's
Yes.
so fast. Like especially in certain parts, you're like, how is he getting all that out? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in the original song, there's actually two of them. It's not one guy. Like the one line later in the song, Weird Al actually changes his rhythm to the other guy. So I thought that was impressive too when you
Very
listen
yeah.
to him. He's just that kind of a talent. He's really good and obviously musically talented, but he's very clever with the lyrics as well, as we've been talking about. So but yeah, that actually was my number 3. Isn't that odd? We both had it at the same spot. It wasn't like
Makes sense.
but yeah, I was like, I got to put it on there. That's where I think Weird Al really exploded. He's always been big, but when that came out, it was just like, yeah, everybody knew
And
who
it's
Weird Al
crazy to
was.
think that that song almost never was because the original song that he had for the album was going to be You're Pitiful. And that was the James Blunt parody
Yeah.
from You're Beautiful. So it's a very similar theme. It's the nerdy theme. You're Pitiful, taken from not the first person though, from third person point of view. And because of a label issue, they were not allowed to put that on the album. So then he went
Oh.
and had to go back to the drawing board and was like, oh, I've got a better idea. And this was so much better. You're Pitiful is still great and you can still find it, but it's nothing compared to White Nerdy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I've heard You're Pitiful before. I was probably just heard it online, but that's an interesting fact. Yeah. It's I'm with you. I'm glad that worked out the way it did. I'm sure at the time it was kind of a bummer for him, but yeah. It becomes both me and Ben's number 3 as a result. So I guess that
I
means something, right?
I do have a quick question for Ajax. You may know this. So in the opening scene where he's mowing the yard and the two guys pull up, it's Key and Peele from the Key and
Mm-hmm.
Peele show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was like their first appearance. I don't know if they go back before, but you might have more information since you're
Possibly it was definitely early on in their career. I know
yeah.
that. But I'm pretty sure that they were somewhat established as at least an improv troupe,
Yeah.
if nothing else. Yeah. But yeah, that really going back and looking at it, you're like, wow, that's early Key and Peele. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He must have recognized their comedy and was like, you guys got to be in my video, but
Oh,
I
for
don't think.
sure.
Yeah, I don't think they were as big. Not everybody really knew who they were at least. So yeah, that's a good question, a good point. There's so many
Yep.
cameos he's got. Maybe we won't get to all of them, but there's so many parodies in the music video. He's got celebrities that appear, so that's what you also appreciate about Weird Al as well. He has a good taste in celebrities, and it's appropriate for the song. It feels like
Everyone wants to be friends with Weird Al, you know?
yeah.
Yes.
He just seems like an awesome guy. Like, who doesn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
hang out with Weird Al? So, okay. Well, we're already up to our number 2. So we're back to you, Ajax. What's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is very sentimental to me because I've heard it so many times, and it really you know how songs can bring you to a place and time, and this just does. It just vacations with family. This is called The Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota, and it comes to you via the UHF soundtrack, which is odd because it was never in the never in the movie, but it was the final song of that soundtrack. It's 6 minutes and 48 seconds of pure bliss, and it's in the style of a Harry Chapin or Gordon Lightfoot type of melody. My favorite my favorite part of the whole song is they pick up this guy named Bernie. He's holding up a sign that says "Twine ball or bust." It's just so funny because he makes note of the fact that he smells real bad, because you gotta mention that. And then at the end of the song, they all gather around the twine ball to take a picture. Bernie's holding the camera, and then he runs away with the brand new Instamatic. I just love that. And then the fact that you take something like a roadside attraction and pretend it's Disney World in the song, it's just so stupid and silly, and I love it. It's so good.
And that's a one I haven't heard either. So here I am. I'm getting called out.
Oh, you
Oh,
got to listen to that. So this is the one you have to listen to if you haven't heard it.
For how much you're talking about it, I'll definitely check it out. That'll be one
So
of the
great.
first ones. So okay, great. I love hearing ones that I haven't heard of though. Get recommendations. So I'll go ahead and mark it right now for save later. So with that, we'll move to Ben. What's your number 2?
So this is a popular one and has to be Eat It, the cover of Michael Jackson's Beat It. The video is hilarious. Just him going around eating everything and keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Well, that one, are you saying eat it or fat? Because fatty gets
Okay, fat.
you mean
Right.
fat.
So
Yeah.
they're both
It-
Michael Jackson, and I
yeah,
called Mike
basically, it's a-
Tyson Michael Jackson earlier, so it's okay.
Yeah, fat, but he says eat it. So yeah, I guess it's the same.
Gotcha. Okay, fat. Yeah, that's got one of my favorite Weird Al lines. And there's actually several, but the one is my shadow weighs 42 pounds. It's just silly and funny, and there's all kinds of other lines. That's one I always think of, though. It's like I would have never thought of that line, but it matches perfectly with the original parody "Bad" by Michael Jackson. So yeah, that's a great pick. Great one. Well, my number 2 is, I want to say it's known, but it feels like it's forgotten. Kind of gets lost in all of his other hits. It's a parody of another controversial artist today now. It is all about the Pendulums, if I can say it right now. It's based off of, I guess he was just Puff Daddy at that time. He wasn't P. Diddy, and then he wasn't just Diddy. All about the Benjamins, but it's so great. That was like White Nerdy before White Nerdy, because it's just about pretty much a nerd, computer nerd, calling people out. And yeah, it's just one of my favorites. It was probably my brother's favorite by Weird Al, and we would say, you got white out all over your screen, I forget what gaming system, I'm blanking on it now. He's like, you think that's really neato?
Commodore 64.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got a Commodore 64. It's real neato. What's it kind of chip you got in there? Dorito?
Yep. Hey, Dorito Ben.
That's why I was
There we
like,
go.
Ben would appreciate that line. So,
Gun.
but yeah, that's my number 2. I was like, I gotta put some spotlight on this song. It's one of my favorites. Okay, we've arrived. We are here. So I'm very interested now to hear, Ajax, what is your number 1 Weird Al song?
All right, my number 1 has to be Albuquerque. Albuquerque is basically the quintessential Weird Al song. It's everything you want in a Weird Al song. It's kooky, it's goofy, it's crazy, but most importantly, it's weird. It's got just the craziest lyrics. So this was on Running with Scissors. It was the last track from the 1999 album, and it's 11 minutes and 22 seconds long. Not quite as long as Trapped in a Drive-Thru, but it's just, it is so good. So it's almost a direct parody of the Rugburns Dick's Automotive, but it goes off on tangents, and there's a little different kind of beat to it. So it's considered a style parody or a pastiche for this band, the Rugburns, that not a lot of people remember, but they're so funny. And Weird Al's lyrics in this song, I mean, some of the funniest lyrics and beats that you could ever imagine in a song. So some of my favorites, just to name a few, There's a one-nostriled man in this that Weird Al gets into a fight with, and it's over his snorkel because the one-nostriled man takes his snorkel, and one of my favorite lines is, "That snorkel's been just like a snorkel to me," which is so stupid. Like, you can say that about anything, but snorkel's a funny word, and so it's funny. The love of his life in this song is called Zelda, and he just went to this donut shop and they didn't have any donuts, and so of course they gave him a box of crazed weasels, starving weasels, and so they all latched onto his face. And so when he met the love of his life, Zelda, the very first thing she said to him was, "Hey, you got weasels on your face." This is so stupid. I love it so much. So, yeah. Oh, also, they had kids, and their names were Nathaniel and Superfly in the song. It's just everything you want in a Weird Al song is Albuquerque. So that's my number one.
All right.
Crazy.
I could say that's probably not everybody's number one, but that's a good pick. I'm just gonna say, because that's, to your point, a Weird Al song. Like everything you're talking is like check, check, check. Yeah, we're hitting all the Weird Al elements of a song.
Yes.
So very solid. Yes, great pick for number one. So I'm interested now. Ben, what is your number one?
So I actually remember being stuck at work, working like 10-hour shifts and just trying to memorize all the lyrics to this song. And it has to be Amish Paradise. Nothing against Amish people or anything, but it's just it's just really funny.
You know, I'll say something, Ben. I'm very shocked that your number one was not Jurassic Park.
That's right.
And it wasn't even in your top 5. I'm surprised.
Do you know, now that I think about it, I don't know if I've heard that song.
Okay. You'll have to look it up for sure.
It is a parody of a very obscure song called MacArthur Park, which not a lot of people have ever heard, but the reason why they know it is from Weird Al's parody. But yeah, you're a Jurassic Park fan. You have to indulge yourself.
I'm blanking.
And with Spotify and Amazon, Apple Music, wherever, you can look up the original and then listen to his parody of it. And,
okay, yeah.
It didn't used to always be that way. You had to go to a record store or CD, wherever, and listen to it that way. Because that's a song they wouldn't have played on the radio. But yeah, I'm surprised still, regardless. So I was thinking, he's probably going to make that his number one. I thought it might have made your top 5 at least. So
yeah, forgot about that one.
Well, I'm going to go with, for my number one, what you originally said, but the opposite. It's going to be Eat It. I mean, it's probably what really put Weird Al on the map in terms of his stardom. It wasn't his first song, but I mean, Michael Jackson was just the biggest thing back then. And yeah, he just put him on the map. There's just some clever lines. It's one of the first songs I can remember of Weird Al. So I guess that's why I think of it as my favorite. I mean, you can't go wrong with Weird Al. Honestly, it's so hard to say what's your top 5. This is our challenge that we accepted. We tried to do the best we can, but I just come back to that. I think it's just well done. It's very clever, even for its time. I mean, you're talking his early on in his career, you could see his progression. I think he did get better with time, but yeah, there's something about it. It's my favorite, and I don't know, maybe it changes from day to day because again, there's so many great ones to pick, but that's my number one. That's all of them. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
So I just wanted to tell you guys something. I did reach out to Weird Al.
Okay.
Before this episode, I didn't hear anything back. So I said, I wanted to have him pop on during this time as a surprise, but it didn't work out. But I
appreciate that effort because that would have been amazing.
Yeah, but surprise!
The way you paused, I have to commend you, Ben. You did a good job on your delivery because I thought you mentioned something about that. Like I might reach out to Weird Al, and you did a nice pause, almost and here it is.
Yeah.
So you set me up for failure.
Yeah.
I would have lost my mind.
Uh,
Well, we
I
appreciate your efforts, though.
yeah, I'll try. I do have a question. So, I kind of see your hat says 27, and I think it says 27. And you said mentioned something to do with Weird Al, the number 27, and this also happens to be our 27th episode.
Yeah, so that's why I recommended this theme. He's always had an infatuation with the number 27. It started out, I believe, as a complete coincidence. And from a coincidence, he just kind of started using it in song lyrics and in videos and kind of stuck it everywhere after a while. And so now people seek it out and use it. And yeah, so now I use that also because I'm a huge Weird Al fan. And so I put that everywhere. I put 27 on everything. So
Very nice. You were
yeah,
representing right there with the hat. Yeah,
Yep.
I was
I
gonna say,
got to, right? And
yeah,
I got the shirt too, you know. Oh,
the
and
Hawaiian
this
shirt.
and the autograph picture and
Oh
Nice.
yeah,
you know, all this other lunchbox and yeah, stuff.
you're representing more than me. I've got like the most blank background right now, so
It's all
But
about the top 5.
I actually broke into Weird Al's apartment. That's where I'm at.
It's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's very clean looking back behind you, much more
Yeah.
than my place. So, well, yeah, that is our top 5, ladies and gentlemen. That was not an easy feat, I can say. I think we had to kind of struggle to put that list together, but we thank you, Ajax, for joining us because
Yes. Yes.
if you didn't catch already, he's a very big Weird Al fan. So we had to have him on and join in with this because you were able to kind of spot us a little bit there too. Like we were unsure and you could just rattle off. So we appreciate your knowledge that you brought for us to able to get this top 5 and make it complete.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you have coming on. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up. We'll move into our last segment.
Last drop.
Brought to you by Sticker Mule. For high-quality customizable stickers, go to our link to get a $10 credit on your first order.
Take it away, Ben.
A horse from Ontario, Canada went viral after a headbanging to heavy metal to such bands as Metallica, Ozzy, Pantera, and many more. With there being so many country songs about horses, have you ever wondered if horses actually like country music? When the owner of the horse played country music, the horse stopped and completely turned around. So stop harming your horses with country music before PETA gets involved. That's what I got.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yes.
I concur.
I was gonna ask, have you ever been around horses or been on a farm, Ajax, seen that kind of a event take place with them?
I haven't, but if I were a horse, I wouldn't want to listen to country. So I totally understand. I would run away.
Maybe, they're out in the country, so they're just so sick of country that they're just like, please, I want some headbanging music of some
That
sort.
makes sense. Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
There was a clip that made me think of another clip I saw. It's animal related, even though they're extinct. There was actually a guy in a velociraptor outfit that looked like one that was from Jurassic Park. I have to represent, even though I didn't with the song. Anyways, but he was like in the front and he's like just rocking out in this outfit. But it made me think, like, what would a horse do if I actually took a horse in a mosh pit to a concert? It's like,
Ooh.
I wouldn't want to stand behind one if you did that. That's
No.
for sure.
I was just about to say that sounds like a lot of chaos, like especially if the horse responded to moshing, because sometimes the band will like try and get the crowd to mosh. They'll encourage it. So that there'd be a lot of hospital visits after that.
yes.
What happened to you? I was at a mosh pit with a horse, That would be at least a fun story for them to tell. But okay, yeah.
For sure.
That's something to keep in mind. I don't know. Next time I see a horse, I might try and play some Metallica or something, see if they get a reaction there. So, well, thank you, Ben, for that. But before we wrap everything up, Ajax, do you have any links or any kind of social platform if people want to look you up? Do you have any kind of projects you're working on?
Ooh, I do. So I'm on Audio Mac, which is a streaming service that not a lot of people have heard, but if you want to hear some goofy, stupid stuff I do and some parodies, you can hop onto Audio Mac. It's audiomac.com/Ajax-38. And that's the link to that. And I've got some greatest hits albums. You can check those out on the highlights. And then I've also got a weekly playlist that I do that used to be a podcast. It is no more a podcast, but it's still a playlist. If you go into Spotify, it's under New Music Review. That's NUMUSICREVUE. And you can click on that profile. And then everywhere else, I'm under Ajax2727, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and lastly, TikTok, broken_spatulas.
Very nice.
Just all of those. Just all of those.
I hope everybody got that, but that's
Yes.
where you can find Ajax, and thankfully we have technology, you can rewind it or something. But yeah, check out his projects there. That sounds like a lot of fun there. If you're got some parodies, I'll have to check those out. So be sure to look at those links, and we'll make sure we do our due diligence. So Ben, why don't you tell the good people where they can find us?
Yeah, so we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at Stash and Joe, YouTube. Please make sure you follow us as our channel is growing, and as it keeps growing, we want to give bigger and bigger giveaways. So make sure you follow us on YouTube. And if you have any questions for me or Isaac, or any subjects you want to cover, you can email us at mustachesandcoffee@yahoo.com. That's how you get a hold of us.
Great. Well, thank you as always, Ben. And wherever you're listening to us, if you could give us a 5-star rating, be sure to subscribe, as Ben said. That way more people will find us. Like Ben said, we love giving away prizes. We love having contests. So, the bigger we grow it, the bigger the prize. We have some ideas in store, so stay tuned for those. Well, that'll about do it here for now. Again, thank you so much for coming on,
Yeah, thanks.
Ajax. Really appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime. And keep up the good work with all your projects there. Sounds like you're having a lot of fun with your parodies and such. So thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. So, as we always say, don't bash the stash.
I need espresso for the depresso.
Goodbye, everybody.